Well, hello and welcome to this week's Coffee Club. I'm Robert Grieve, with me Roger Hanna, who's been a stalwart of this channel for the last few weeks. I've been on holiday, yourself and Bill Leckie holding the court. Did you miss me?
I did miss you, yes. I hope you had a good holiday. It's the SunSport rotation policy. A bit like John Souttar missing out at Ibrox on Sunday. We've spoken to the Scottish SunSport scientists. They've given Bill Leckie the week off. After seeing the way,
because he's been working too hard.
Well, not so much that. After the way he attacks Mimo's lovely Bella Vita cakes, the sports science department have said Bill needs to take a week out. So it's you and I looking ahead to a mammoth midweek card, none bigger than the game you're going to, Aberdeen Rangers at Pittodrie.
Yeah, going tonight. Huge game. Thoroughly looking forward to it. As you say, Aberdeen growing great guns this season under Jimmy Tillene, and Rangers not doing so well, albeit. I wasn't at the game last week, but they had a fairly positive performance in Europe last week.
Yeah.
I was at the game against St Mirren on Sunday, where their levels go back down again, albeit they win. What have you made of them?
They're a strange team to put your finger on. I was with you at Ibrox on Sunday. There are flashes, Robert, in the performance where you thought, Václav Černý, he's now got 5 goals in 4 games.
Yeah.
So there's little flashes. Bajrami did really well to recover the ball and set up the first goal. There's flashes from Raskin and Barn in the middle of the park. Diomande took his goal well. I thought he did okay at times in that advanced number 10 role, but they can't seem to pull all those strands together into a 90-minute performance. They needed to send on Dessers at half time, they needed to send on Tavernier after an hour, and you always worry they'll lose a goal.
I was going to say that, we'll come to Dessers in a wee minute because I want to talk about him, but this kind of central defensive situation at Rangers right now is kind of intriguing for me. Philippe Clement rests John Souttar, which you can maybe understand given his history with injuries, that he's going to be very careful with him. Robin Proper plays. James Tavernier, the captain, gets rested as well. Proper then comes off. Casaviro gets moved into centre back because Proper's getting terrorised by Tayosu Olasanya.
An improper performance.
Absolutely. You'd imagine if he comes back into the side, or if he plays again, if he starts against Aberdeen, they'll fancy their chances of causing problems, won't they?
I don't think Robin Proper can play at Pittodrie tonight. I think if John Souttar's fit, it'll be Souttar, Leon Balogun. I think if John Souttar's not fit again, it will be Casaviro and Balogun. Casaviro moved in alongside Balogun for the last half hour.
It was good.
And they handled Tayosu Olasanya far better. He looks a decent player. And Robin Proper, despite being 31 and having 300 games at the top flight in the Netherlands, does not look suited to the physical rigours of the Scottish Premiership. We've seen it before. You only need to look back 12 months to the arrival of Mike Nawrocki and Gustav Lagerbielke across the season, who cost a good bit more money than Robin Proper and couldn't deal with it. Lagerbielke's had to go, oddly enough, to Holland to replace Robin Proper. So we've seen it before, but at the minute, I don't think Rangers can risk Robin Proper tonight.
What about up front? Cyril Dessers took the huff when he looked at what he realised. Well, for me, he did. He took the huff when he realised he was getting subbed in the European game last week. Kind of threw his toys up the pram. The manager tried to explain it, that he'd had a slight knock with the eye and stuff like that. For me, he realised he was getting hooked and wasn't happy about it, which may be fair enough. But for me, you can't be walking straight up the tunnel before your substitute's going to come on. And I was surprised at that from Dessers, who, when you speak to him, he seems a top guy. He seems a really good guy. But he was benched then for the weekend. Samson Higamani starts, does nothing for the first half, completely anonymous. So you'd imagine Dessers starts against Aberdeen. What do you make of the situation there? Because he's pretty much the only number 9 they've got. But he's not. His numbers are decent, but he's not been playing well.
Well, he's the best number 9 they've got. There's no any doubt about that. So he has to play. He has to start games. I think he was rotated out the team on Sunday. I'm not convinced it was anything to do with his wee huff on Thursday night.
I think it was. Don't you think?
No? I'm not so sure. Egerman is going to have to play at some stage. He took his goal well against Stoy. It wasn't really a surprise that he started. He didn't take his chance on Sunday. Dessers came in. Dessers improved the team. He set up the winning goal for Černý. He'll start at Pittodrie tonight, there's no doubt. Egerman is still young. You can cut him a bit of slack. I wonder where Danilo is. Played for the B team in the SPFL Trust Trophy against Stenhousemuir last midweek. Scored a goal, played an hour. I actually thought he might be on the bench at the weekend. still no sign of him, and that's why so much is placed on Cyril Desser's shoulders.
Is it unfair to criticise him then, because as you say, he did really well for the goal that Rangers scored to win the match. Cherney, he set up Cherney brilliantly. I thought he skipped past I think it was Gogic possibly, can't remember what some defender, he skipped past him like he wasn't there. Sets him up brilliantly. So he does have flashes where he can be a real impact player for Rangers and have an impact, but in other times his link-up play is appalling. Someone scored a goal on the break that was chopped off rightly for offside because of a terrible pass from Desser's inside. He tries to play a 1-2 with someone or link someone in. Someone go up the park and almost score a goal. He has to do things like that so much better for me.
He does.
It's the simple things he has to do so much better.
Yeah, and if you're going to lead the line for Rangers, your all-round performance needs to be better, needs to be more consistent than Dessers has provided. And you could take that back probably to the start of his Rangers career. So I think the Cyril Dessers you see, Robert, is what Cyril Dessers is. It's not Cyril Dessers' fault. There's no one better than him at Rangers at the minute.
That's true.
So he will lead the line. Listen, he might score a goal tonight at Pittodrie, you never know, but he'll need to improve in the showing of the last two games, I think.
Who's that bigger game for? Aberdeen have had such a fantastic start to the season. They're up top of the league with Celtic neck and neck. You think it's a bigger game for Rangers?
Far bigger for Rangers. Rangers are already 6 points off the pace. No disrespect to Tony Docherty and Dundee, they'll lose at Celtic Park tonight. So if Aberdeen were to beat Rangers have been 9 points adrift of Celtic and Aberdeen by the end of October. Conor Barn was in the Sunday papers saying Rangers are still in the title race. If Rangers lose tonight, there's no chance of me being in the boat race. It's done.
You've been practising that line, that's quite good.
Oh, I just came to.
But it's a fair...
I always like to put my oar in.
You're talking about your boat race. But it's a fair point you make in the sense that there's a debate. You can have a debate right now whether Rangers are actually title challengers at the minute.
Yeah.
If they go further behind,
I think they're on the periphery just now. If they lose tonight, it's gone. I think, because even if you think that Aberdeen will wobble at some stage in the season, and they will, Rangers have still got to string together performances and results that would claw back those 9 points to Aberdeen. That for me would be doable. If they go 9 points behind Celtic, you look at Celtic in a minute, you wonder if Celtic will drop 9 points in the rest of the season. I mean, they're going to places and battering teams. You've got Alistair Johnson, the stand-in captain, the right back, who scored at Ross County, at St Mirren and at Motherwell. I mean, even in away games, they're going in blitzing teams. You wonder, you can't see them dropping the points if Rangers go 9 behind.
So, in theory then, is the title race already over?
It would be, I think, Rangers would be out if they lose tonight.
As things stand right now, though, can you see?
No, listen, 6 points is manageable at a time when
a couple of old firm games left to go.
3 old firm games still to go, etc. Philippe Clement will tell you, Rangers can get back. I can't see it, and if they lose tonight, it's definitely done.
What about Aberdeen then? I mean, they have had a stunning start to the season. You can't fault them at all. One of the things Philippe Clement talks about at Rangers is the amount of players they've brought in and how they need a bit more time. He's promising they'll be better next month, maybe the month after. Aberdeen don't have that issue. Aberdeen have brought in a handful of players and they've clipped like that.
That's what blows a hole in Philippe Clement's argument. He said after the game on Sunday against St Mirren, he had 7 players who had just arrived at the club in the summer and they needed time to settle in. You don't get time to settle in. Aberdeen are joint top of the league and they had 6 newcomers in the team at the weekend, from Mitov in goal through Malloy at the back. Both Palaversa and Nielsen played. Keskinen was there, and Peter Ambrose, who scored the goal. It for me is the most uplifting, romantic story of the season. The renaissance at Aberdeen
by a mile.
With this guy Jimmy Tillin. Nobody knows him. Honestly, he wouldn't show you a bird's nest. He struggles to, if you say to him, Jimmy, is it Wednesday? He'd think twice before confirming that to you. But what a job he's done, and as well as the signings, the thing for me is the transformation in some of the players who
were bit part players.
players. Peter Ambrose is a newcomer, but look this, Esther Sokler scoring at Celtic Park, hardly seen last season because of Miovski's form. Guys like Shaden Morris, who come on at half time against Dundee United on Saturday night, transformed the game. Vicente Bejuigan on the other side, looks a different player and he's got the confidence. When that penalty was awarded, albeit it was overturned by VAR, he was the first to grab the ball. He wanted to take responsibility. All these players want to play their part. Listen to Shayden Morris's post-match interview. Even though these guys are starting on the bench, they all feel involved. And Jimmy Tillane has instilled a fantastic ethic at Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's great for our game that we've got a club, a big, huge club like Aberdeen. Yeah. For me, it's been long overdue that they've kind of got their act together, frankly, and they're having had a good start to the season. Yeah. Whether they're going to be title challengers or not, I don't think they will be. But it's fantastic they've had a great start to the season. That they're winning the games they have to win. The result and the performance against Celtic, I wasn't there. I was on holiday, but when you saw that coming through, fantastic. You know, they didn't fold, they didn't roll over. They showed a bit of steel. Yeah. They battled back to get a great point, and suddenly you go, there is something genuinely about this team. It's a great thing for Scottish football. It's a great story. A great
atmosphere at Pittodrie. I watched the game on the TV on Saturday night. A sellout at Pittodrie. The atmosphere was fantastic, even when it was 0-0 and they were pushing and pushing for the goal. The fans were behind them, and listen, you're dashing away from here at Bella Vita to go up the road for the game tonight. It will be a bear pit. It will be a fantastic atmosphere, and I just hope the game lives up to it.
Would Aberdeen take a point right now, you think? No?
I don't think Jimmy Tillane would. No, I don't think it.
They'll fancy their chances, won't they?
I don't think that's in his makeup. You know, he spoke both before and after the game at Celtic Park about the way they were going to approach the game, the way they did approach the game. He didn't try and park the bus. Even at 2-0 down, he changed things at half-time to get back into the game, and he got back into the game and he got a point. I don't think if you offered him a point now, he would take it. I wonder if Philippe Clement would.
Yeah, that's a fair point. You touch on Tillane though, and how, as you say, he wouldn't show you a bird's nest, but that's a good thing, isn't it? He doesn't seem like someone who's going to... Now, he might not be a ball of fire for the media guys, but that's a good thing. He seems to be level-headed. He's not going to be too carried away. Yeah. You saw him doing a little dance. On the pitch after the win over Dundee United. It was like you at the Christmas party, but that seems as excited as he's going to get. You know, he seems very, very level-headed, which I think is a good thing.
I think the best for everybody would be to have Jimmy Tillane coaching and managing the team, and Neil Warnock coming in to do the press conferences. I would settle for that now, because but listen, Jimmy Tillane, if you strip it back, isn't employed by Aberdeen to give us great press conferences. He's employed by Aberdeen to improve the team. He's improved the team beyond all recognition, and even by the end of October, he's miles clear in the running for manager of the year. He's done a terrific job.
Yeah, absolutely. To go back briefly before we move on to other things, if it was to go pear-shaped for Rangers tonight, where would that leave Philippe Clement? Would they be under pressure for his job? I mean, John Bennett was speaking a few months ago now, before he stepped down as chairman, and he said it's the days of rinse and repeat are over at Rangers, and you can understand where he's coming from. That said, there would have to come a time that he'd be under pressure, would there not?
Well,
I know it's ifs, buts and maybes at the minute, but is he close to being under real pressure for his job?
We've covered this for many a year, and I remember Martin O'Neill saying 25 years ago, you only have 3 games from a crisis as an old firm manager, and that's the case. Look at Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United. You know, the Old Trafford board in the summer gave him a vote of confidence. He seems a nice guy. I think the Old Trafford board would have liked Eric Ten Hag to succeed. He won an FA Cup, he won a League Cup down there, but eventually, when results go pear-shaped, you know, the fact that you're a nice guy and the board like you goes out the window. You know, Ten Hag left at the start of the week with Manchester United 14th in the English Premier League. You can't have that. He had to go. Now, look at Stephen Naismith. Hearts gave him a contract at the start of the season, lovely contract extension, new 3-year deal. Then they lost 8 or 9 games in the throw, and the board knew that he had to go. So the nightmare scenario for Philippe Clement would be losing at Aberdeen and then losing to Motherwell in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final at Hampden on Sunday. A semi-final defeat to Motherwell cost Pedro Caixinha, who was sacked again this week.
That's right.
In his latest job. But if Rangers were to lose these 2 games, and I'm not sure they'll lose the 2 games, but if they did, the nightmare scenario, he's under real pressure.
For me, he gets sacked if he loses both games. I think it's as brutal as that and as blatant as that. I know you're trying to... We don't want to see anybody lose their job.
No,
listen,
absolutely not.
We're not sitting here
and
saying that, but...
the rinse and repeat thing isn't good for anybody.
Yeah.
But
But there comes a point where enough's enough with Rangers fans and any group of fans.
100%.
And I think this is a huge couple of games for Philippe Clement. I think if he loses to Aberdeen and doesn't win on Sunday, I think he's
off
gone.
The back of Celtic, Leon, Kilmarnock already this season, and performances like the one, even in victory against St Mirren at the weekend.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Heading off, as Roger says, shortly. That he got up that road. Thoroughly looking forward to it. It's going to be a great game. Great atmosphere at Pittodrie this season, and really looking forward to it. There's other games though. Celtic, they steamrolled Motherwell at the weekend by the looks of it, albeit I think Motherwell had a really good couple of chances early on.
Lennon Miller impressed again.
Lennon Miller, who Chris Boyd was talking Monday about how he's maybe even beyond Rangers and Celtic now in terms of where he goes next. That's a bold statement to make about a young kid who's, how many games has he played now for Motherwell?
Just over 50.
50 games, making his way, fantastic to see. But you'd imagine clubs in England will be looking at him.
Clubs in England and clubs further afield. If you look at the success that the likes of Aaron Hickey, Lewis Ferguson, Josh Doig have had in Italy, already Italian clubs are looking at, they're taking the McTominays and the Gilmores and the Adams now. So, continental clubs are looking at Scottish football, they're looking at the market, they think they can get value in the market. Who's to say a top Serie A team, a Bundesliga team, wouldn't come in for Lennon Miller? I've seen him shine many a time in ordinary run-of-the-mill Premiership games, but Sunday was the first time you really see him impressed to that extent against Celtic at Rangers. I thought he was excellent. Yeah,
I would love to see. I was talking to a Motherwell fan. I was away to the Celtic game, European game last week. I was talking to a Motherwell fan, bizarrely out there, and we're talking about Lennon Miller, and I was making the point that I would love a club in England or abroad to come in for the kids, sign them, loan them back to Motherwell.
Yeah.
Let them stay there, let them play there, let them progress. There's no point in Lennon Miller or any other young kids at that age. What age is he? 19? 18 still. 18. Leaving when he's in an environment that suits him, his environment where he's thriving, growing, getting better by the week. Taking him out of that and putting him in a top club in England or any kind of Premier League club in England and letting him develop with the youth team, or that's a step backwards. I hope that Motherwell make out of him. I hope if he does move soon, they get good money for him.
They will.
I would love to see him stay at Motherwell. Maybe another season, get another 50 games under his belt, and then maybe take the step.
And so many development coaches will tell you 100 games. You go back to
John McGinn,
and the McCarthys and the MacArthurs before they went to the English Premier League, 100 games each for Hamilton Accies, and look at the kind of foundation that gave them. I think 100 games for Motherwell would give Lennon Miller a fantastic foundation to go wherever he wanted to go next in his career.
It's fantastic to see, though, isn't it? A young player.
It's absolutely brilliant.
He's hopefully going to make his breakthrough into the Scotland squad soon. I think he was actually, I know for a fact that Steve Clarke rates him, and I think that's a given at some point very soon, that he'll be kind of knocking on the door for the full Scotland squad.
Very much so. And Steve Clement, listen, he gets a reputation for not picking kids, and it's probably harsh on him because Aaron Hickey was in that squad and playing regularly before he was injured. Ben Dokes came into the squad and now got into the team as well, and I think Lennon Miller will be next. He has to be next.
Yeah, he's definitely knocking on the door. That's definitely absolutely one to watch. So the only game tonight, Hibs and Hearts, they got a draw at the weekend there. A lot went on at Easter Road. What do you make of that? And can I ease the strain a little bit in David Gray, who's been under a little bit of pressure, getting the draw? Could have been better, could have been worse. What did you make of it?
Well, they look like two teams who are struggling down at the bottom of the Premiership, which is exactly what they are. David Gray spoke on Monday, said that the teams looked sort of frightened, fearful, and that was how it came across. Not a great derby, and Hibs, they go to Dingwall tonight, which will be equally difficult. David Gray needs his players to dig him out. Dwight Gale and Junior Hoylett, I was a bit sceptical when they arrived at 33 and 34. They've looked decent, but it's other players, Martin Boyle, back from injury, you cut him a bit of slack, but they need Martin Boyle back. He needs more from Joe Newell, who missed the derby because of two stupid bookings at Tannadice. He needs more out those two centre backs. The guys with loads of games under their belt in the lower leagues down south, Ekpiteta and O'Hora, and he needs to turn Hibs into a team that can get out of trouble with 1-0 wins. Even though they were 1-0 up on Sunday, I never thought for a minute they were going to hold on against Hearts, and they lose the equaliser 3 or 4 minutes for young James Wilson coming on, a great story, 17 years of age. But at the minute, Hibs are in a relegation scrap because you struggle to think of two teams who are worse than Hibs.
Yeah. You think so? I mean, they're down there at the minute. It's Hibs, it's Hearts, or St Mirren, Hearts, Hibs at the minute.
Yeah.
You wouldn't imagine those, I don't think those teams will be down there at the end of the season, but at the minute they're in a bit of a scrap.
Very much so. You would think Hearts would get out of it. Look at the spine of the Hearts team.
I thought St Mirren as well were good against Rangers.
St Mirren were good against Rangers. They've finished top 6 the last 2 seasons. They've got a decent squad there. Stephen Robinson, your story last week, his new contract extension. I believe he's now dealing in the likes of Fraser, Nola Sanya and Richard Taylor and guys like that. St Mirren will be fine. Hibs, unless they really rally, and there's no sign of that so far, they're in for a scrap this season with the likes of Ross County, St Johnstone, maybe even Dundee, who haven't really picked up since the loss of Luke McCowan.
Yeah, so putting you in the spot, Hibs to finish bottom.
They're certainly in the mix at the minute, yeah, unless
Not even in the mix, obviously in the mix, come on. Put your head in the block.
It's the end of October. We've still got 7 months to the end of the season.
Well, we're in the predicting business.
They're in the frame to finish bottom, yeah.
You think they're in a series, ready to get their finger out?
100%.
Interesting. Well, they've got big games coming up. Big games this weekend, big games tonight. I'm thoroughly looking forward to going to Pittodrie tonight and then cup games at the weekend as well. It's a lot of action coming thick and fast. It's great, isn't it?
Good games will be good at Paisley. You're talking about St Mirren there. St Johnstone will come there full of confidence after the start under Simo Valakari. Motherwell started okay against Celtic at the weekend. Good game at Tannadice for them. We've spoken about Hibs at Dingwall. Hearts at home at Kilmarnock will be a good game for Neil Critchley, who hasn't lost a goal at Tynecastle so far. And of course Celtic, Dundee, we're fascinated to see the Celtic team tonight. They've got a huge semi-final Premier Sports Cup against Aberdeen on Saturday night at Hampden. What team does Brendan Rodgers pick tonight? I can't see Callum McGregor back in tonight. I think he'll get a chance to rest that adductor injury. Does Carter Vickers start after getting a few minutes at Motherwell at the weekend? Does Greg Taylor come back in? How's Adam Ida after that poor challenge by Liam Gordon at the weekend? Does Arnie Engels start again, having been benched at the weekend? So fascinating to see. I think Brendan Rodgers will rotate the side. I still think it'll be strong enough to get 3 points. Yeah.
Well, as I said, there's a lot of big games coming thick and fast. Right now, I'm looking forward to these cakes. I've missed them, Roger.
They look absolutely fabulous. Bill Leckie, you're missing out, I'm afraid, my friend.
What have we got? Give us a wee description.
Well, look, this is very chocolatey. This might be the one today. We've got nice Danish pastry. We've got a nice good old-fashioned sponge cake here. I think Nemo could maybe...
A wee bit of custard.
Would be good. We like that. Very tasty.
Yeah, well, we'll dive into these and we'll stick with the games tonight and see how all Scottish teams in the Premiership get on. All the best coverage, as always, will be in the Scottish Sun online and in tomorrow's paper. So stick with SunSport.